My name is Kenny Bailey, and I am a third generation agricultural business operator. It started with my grandpa, and now my uncle owns a business, but I have worked for him for about 24 years. The first time I worked for about 12 years. After that, I got into the ministry, done that for about 5 years, and I came back to the ag business. And that's where I've been for about the last 14 years. I started off being a truck driver for my uncle because I had quit my junior year of high school and I didn't have any background in ag business or anything. But I started off driving a semi and I worked my way up to driving a sprayer. And then after that, I worked my way up to a supervisor and stayed a supervisor for a good while. And after that, I got out of it. Like I said, after 12 years, I got burnt out and I went into the ministry, done that for about 5 years and came back. But one thing I just want to share with anyone thinking about getting into the ag business, you have to be dedicated to it. It doesn't matter what part of the ag business you get into. Sometimes it takes a lot of hours to complete your business with the farmers. It don't matter if you're in the computer end of it or in the ag applying, because that's what I do. I run a lime spreader we put on ag lime to bring up the pH in the soils. But you just have to be dedicated. You have to also be a people person. You have to enjoy dealing with the farmer. And so, but like I said, my uncle is 83 at this time, and he retired for about 2 years, 16 years ago, and did not like retirement. He tried it for about 2 years and he wanted to get back into it. And then he contacted me and he and I went back into business together. So that's where I currently am, working for my uncle. It is called Bailey Enterprises. We apply ag lime. The first time I worked for him, he owned an elevator, he owned a chemical plant, he owned a fertilizer plant. And we just pretty well done it all. But I am 60 at this point and he's 83. So we have both kind of slowed down a little bit, but still I love what I do. I truly do. So that's kind of who I am. And Andrea, if you got some questions, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I know you talked a little bit about how you started, but what really inspired you to go into agriculture over anything else that you could have been doing?
Well, like I shared earlier, I was kind of limited on what I could do because of quitting school. And again, that was a regret that I have carried all my life. But again, I don't let it slow me down or hold me back, because everybody can excel if they apply themselves. And like I said, one of the main reasons is because my grandpa done it, my dad done it, my uncle done it. And it was something in our blood. We love operating equipment. We all love dealing with the farmers. And so that was probably one of the biggest things, is just, it's in my blood. That's all I can say. It's in my blood.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. So what's a piece of advice that you would give to a college student who's looking to go into a similar field?
I would say never assume anything, because a lot of times I've seen a lot of college students come and start working for a chemical company or something on that lines, and don't ever assume that you know it all, because things change in the ag business every year. The chemicals change. Even though the chemicals may do the same thing as they did last year, there's always a new name or there's always a new product. And again, that's one thing I like. It never stays the same. It changes every year. And that's the same way with the equipment. When I first started back in 1985 for my uncle, you ran a sprayer, you went by your speed and by the pressure. There was no computers. And now the machine won't operate at all unless it has your computer on. So, but anyway, the college student, have an open heart and an open mind, because there's always something new to learn. That's what I would encourage them to do. Never assume you know it all.
That is a great answer and definitely an amazing piece of advice. So I know you mentioned how you've seen technology change in terms of the sprayers. Have you seen any other technological advancements that have changed the way you do your line of work in the agriculture business?
Yes. When I got into business with my uncle again about 14 years ago, uh, the machine had no computers. It was the machine operated on the speed that you drove and how you adjusted the gate on the back of the dry spreading machine. And that wasn't long until probably 2 years later, the farmers were wanting, it's called VRT, variable rate technology. And what that does, the farmers hire someone to go out and they will take a probe like every 2 acres. If they have a 40-acre field, they will come out and they will take a soil test about every 2 acres, and it tells them where their soils are. So now the machine that I operate now, whoever does their soil sampling, they email it to me. I download it onto a thumb drive, and then I put it in the computer in my machine, and it does it all. Some people are scared of the system, but to me, it's a safety net because you can't mess up. Everywhere I drive in that field, it shows you where you've spread or where you have sprayed. And so the technology is it's out of this world. I mean, it's just crazy because if I get everything set in my machine, I don't even have to drive it. I have to be in it and I have to be sitting there. I don't give it gas. I don't steer it. I don't do anything. It's just, it has really excelled over the last 15 years in the ag business. And now we have drones. The farmers can have people come with the drone and they can fly the drone over the field. It can tell them if there's low moisture, if there's too much moisture, if there's a fungus. I mean, it can just tell them about anything they want. So it has really changed tremendously.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what would you look for in a job candidate?
Number one, I would look for someone that has people skills. Like I said, I know probably every farmer in 3 surrounding counties around me, because that is, sometimes I will go a year without even seeing the farmer that I'm working for because it's all done on computer or over the phone. But still, the farmer wants to see who's operating the equipment. You have to be people friendly. And I would encourage anybody, if you don't like people, if you're a loner, if you're an introvert, try to find you a job in the ag business where, you know, you're on the back burner, you're behind the scenes. But with me being an applicator, I am on the front line with the farmer and I love it. And that's one reason I enjoyed coming back to the ag business out of the ministry I was in, is because now I get to operate equipment. Plus I get to use my people, what little people skills I have, I get to use that with the farmers. And that's what I enjoy. And that's what I would look in someone I was going to hire, is someone that knows how to operate equipment and someone that is good with people skills.
I love that. I think that definitely sounds like the job for me. So what is something that you would like for the public to know about your line of work? Or are there any misconceptions that you would like to clear up?
I think a lot of people, at least from my generation, we looked at farmers, they called them dirt farmers, like they didn't have an education and they wasn't very smart, you know, because I used to hear comments, oh, he's just an old dirt farmer. But I have seen time and time again where the people my age or a couple of years older than me, if they're not willing to learn and grasp the new ideas and the new things coming up in the ag business, they're getting left behind. So the farmer has to be very intelligent. So it's kind of an old thing, at least in our area, in the rural area, that farmers were just old dirt farmers and they didn't know a whole lot. But they are some of the smartest people that I know, because they have to be on top of what type of seed, what type of fertilizer, what type of chemical they're going to use. I mean, it's just never ending on the knowledge that you have to be a farmer nowadays. And I know a lot of my friends, farmers my age, that they are allowing their boys to step up. And some of the farmers don't even know how to operate the tractors anymore because it's all computerized. So, but they're almost at the age of retirement, so they're just letting their boys take over. But yeah, the farmers that I deal with are very, very intelligent, very smart, uh, and I just love working with them. I sure do. So people, if they have a concept that the farmer is an old dumb dirt farmer, he's very misunderstood.
Absolutely. You guys are the ones growing our food, so that takes a lot of knowledge. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
And finally, what would you like to see for the future of agriculture?
I would like to see more young men step in the farmer's role. We have in our area, Andrea, I have seen time and time again where the sons did not pick up the farm, and now they're leasing the farms in our area to people in Indiana or different states because the family does not want to take over the farming. But it requires a lot of time. You miss a lot of your kids' ball games. I mean, there's just a lot. It takes a lot of hours to be a farmer, and you work. And I'm serious. There were times where I would work over 100 hours a week just to stay caught up with the farmer. And I know that the farmers put in a lot of hours also. And I think that's one reason we're losing a lot of the young farmers. But the ones that stay with it, though, they love it. But I know of about 4 farm families just in our area where they have leased the whole farm to someone else because none of the children in the family wanted to take up the farm business. So I really, really would love to see more young men step up to take the farms over.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's definitely something we talked about in my agriculture class, how a lot of farmers are retiring and no one's really stepping up. So I think that's a great vision for the future to see this
Yes,
line of work continued.
yes, and there are a lot of major big farmers in our area. When I was young, Andrea, there was probably 50 farmers within a 10-mile area of our ag location, and now there's probably 10 farmers. And so all the little farmers are fading out, and the bigger farmers are taking over. And again, I don't know if that's good or bad, but the farmers that do take over, they're doing a phenomenal job with what they've got. They truly are.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to share? Any final words?
I would just say if anyone gets into the agricultural business, show kindness and have kindness and be willing to learn. Because like I say, things change every year. It just seems like there's a never ending change to the ag business right now. But it's good though. That's what I say. Like with my machine, the computer and all that, it is my safety net because you cannot mess up. It on my computer and my machine, it paints everywhere where I drive over that field and spread my lime. It paints it on that screen, so you really can't mess up, But yeah, you've got to be patient. You got to have kindness, and you got to take responsibility. There's been times that I have messed up, and you've got to step up and take responsibility, whether it be good or bad. You got to take responsibility. And a lot of the younger people in our area, it just seems like it's always somebody else's fault because there's nobody perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but and I'm going to shut up after this. But I get right now, I am probably 3 months behind on spreading lime. I cannot keep up because there's not enough help. People they don't want to work, and they don't want to work the hours that we have to work. But it doesn't matter what the farmer or what farmer it is that calls me. I had one farmer last year tell me, he said, Kenny, he said, thank you for answering your phone. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, well, a lot of times he will call to try to get fertilizer or spraying done. And if they can't get to him, they just ignore him. And I never ignore a farmer. I always answer the phone and talk to them and at least let them know what's going on. If I can get to them in a week or if I can get to them in 2 or 3 days, they appreciate honesty. And so just be kind, be honest, and the sky's the limit.
Thank you so much. That was so wonderful. I feel like I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of skills that you can definitely apply anywhere, but
That's
that was really informative. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it has been a joy to speak with you, and I hope I get to speak with you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you.